my little Eagles crit.
Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Blood, Sweat, and Tears presented by the Fantasy Holics Podcast Network. With us, as always, is wide receiver one room, Zach Rom, Castle Black, Brian Bruner. I'm Mr. Oviedo. Man, thank God this past week wasn't the first round of the playoffs or the second round because, man, I would have flushed all my money down the toilet. And I probably wouldn't be on the show the rest of the year because I would be so pissed off and I need like a fantasy football break, but thank goodness, most of our leagues have one more regular season week left, and then it gets serious. Then you sit a little farther forward in your seat on Sunday and Monday, and
question choices, change your lineup 5, 6, 7 times, thinking, oh, I got it right, I'm going to adjust it here. Yeah. I had a couple teams that put up big fat duds last week, so I'm very happy playoffs haven't started. And looking at a relaxing week. My Patriots aren't playing, so I can relax. The week before playoffs, I'm happy for that, and see where things go.
This last set of buys is real annoying. With how far into the year we are and how many injuries we're dealing with, to all of a sudden I'm going through my ridiculous amount of lineups, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta pull Ted out. Oh shit, I gotta pull McCaffrey out. Oh shit, I can't start Purdy in the Superflex. Oh shit. Oh my god, like Rigo, Dowdle, and Chuba, can't use them. Oh my god, no Patriots either. Like it's really fucking hitting, man. Especially in the dynasty leagues. I have some suspect flexes going in some fucking dynasty leagues right now, man. On teams that are like contenders, that are good first and second place teams. You might find a fucking Ty Johnson or like a Matt Collins in a couple of my flex spots for real. Like a Samaje Perrine's hiding in one of them right now, man. Like it's hard out in the streets week 14 with a bunch of injuries and buys.
Yeah, injury guys are a little awkward spot for people, especially if you're hoping to come in. Yeah, before the season, looking at the bye week, you wouldn't think it'd be much outside of really missing McCaffrey, Malik Neighbors, and that's about it. But Drake May has turned it on. Some of the Patriots wide receivers have. Their running backs have. You got Purdy, who did well. You can flex either Carolina running backs. Tet is coming on wide receiver 2 territory. I think I saw something. He in the top 10 points scored in PPR, which will probably drop down to about 15 to 18 range with this buy, but yeah, there's a lot of going to have to give you that playoff push. If you haven't quite solidified that spot, that might be hurting you.
Yeah, most of the apps, at least ESPN and Sleeper, are the ones that I play in. They let you know exactly where you're at as far as clinch playoffs, clinch bye, clinch first round, or clinch first seed, clinch first round bye, which is pretty cool. So you know where you're at. Definitely have some locked up buys, and I think I have 1 or 2 locked in first seed overall, which is cool. A lot of my South Harmon leagues, they go with the NFL system of 7 playoff teams and only 1 gets the bye. That's those. They're very rewarding to finish in that top seed. So I'm fighting for a few of them. I'm still in second in my league of record at 10-3, but it's still no one has clinched that 1 seed or either bye yet. So it'll literally all come down to this week. On that note, I'm benching Lamar in my fucking league of record because he's getting me 7 points a week, and I can't live that way. And it's not like the quarterbacks were, flush on the waiver wire. So even last week, I did start Lamar on Thanksgiving. But before last week, I picked up Trevor Lawrence, who was by far the best waiver quarterback. And I am 100% rolling out Trevor Lawrence this week because he's been the QB 5 and 7 2 weeks in a row, and QB Lamar has gotten me about 5 to 7 points. So, no brainer. Bring in the Bring in the long-haired sunshine kid and try to get me that first round bye, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm here sitting super flex having to start Lamar Jackson and Daniel Jones in a competing team. And, come week 6 to 8, I was ecstatic about it. And now I'm like, boy, can I go the deadline to go and trade for Trevor Lawrence or someone else? I mean, I even had Penix back then, who was kind of coming up a little. I was like, if I need to, I got him, and now he's on IR, and there's no one on waivers that I can get. And like, I'm sitting in a very awkward spot in that league, quarterback wise, because I have to start Lamar and Daniel Jones.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Lamar, I'm benching him for Trevor Lawrence, who's serviceable. I'm definitely not advocating to bench him for like any quarterback that's starting. I mean, it's still Lamar and all, but we talked about it last week. He played the fucking Bengals defense at home, and he got you 7 points somehow. And he didn't get hurt. He played the whole fucking game.
Yep.
He got I don't know if you guys started him anywhere, but his buddy Zay Flowers got you like 0.6 or negative 0.6, depending on the scoring format, because he had 6 yards and a fumble. That was fun. I'm sure there's plenty of people that had the Flowers Lamar stack hoping for big things on Turkey Day. That worked out for a total of about 5 fucking points total. Unreal, man.
Yeah. And that was
supposed to have 3 touchdowns. I don't think he had 3 catches.
Even the Bengals with the almighty tight end matchup, the greatest of all time, Isaiah likely had a decent game, but Mark Andrews only had like 4 for 47, which for, in terms of going against the Bengals, that's pathetic for a tight end. It's just a mess there, man. It's all Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's the only fucking Raven I have any interest in starting.
Well, and likely had that potential touchdown that turned into a touchback. So that's if anything, a huge momentum swing for both and likely there. That's an extra 6 points for Lee, an extra 4 to 6 for Lamar. And that, but the home game against the Bengals, that was the game you needed Lamar to go for 30 points, not 7.
Yep.
So, yeah, and we're going to talk about it now as good as time as any. But, yeah, Lamar's, if you have a better quarterback right now, you kind of can't be starting Lamar. It seems so bad to say that.
I'll say this, and we can kind of move through that game when we get to the review, since we already really hit on it a lot. Where I'm at with Lamar is if you're in a scenario where, it's single quarterback, or you're in a super flex dynasty and you just happen to have a serviceable third quarterback that you can use over Lamar, start that other person this week. I'm saying don't drop down to the QB 27, 28s of the world, but if you have somebody serviceable, a Mariota, Trevor Lawrence like I'm doing, Daniel Jones, I'm not hyped for him this week, but I'm definitely starting him over Lamar, in a one quarterback. So I'm benching him this week, play somebody else, and you know what? If he bounces back and we see Lamar running again and he looks spry and the Ravens offense looks like it woke up, great. Put Lamar back in for round 1 of the playoffs. But do not get your ass eliminated from the playoffs in a must-win game this week because you're just starting Lamar Jackson based on name and draft value, because that dude out there wearing number 8 for the Ravens is not Lamar Jackson that we know for fantasy currently.
Yeah,
make him
completely different. Now, here's a couple interesting questions on starts over Lamar or not. I think this one's easy, but I have to Jacoby Brissett.
Easily Brissett. Brissett's been a quarterback 1 every week since he started it.
Geno Smith at versus Broncos.
No.
Lamar.
Going Lamar.
Sam Darnold at the Falcons.
Darnold. I know it was bad last week, but I'm still Darnold.
Let's see.
So West Coast teams heading east. I can't do it. It's a struggle this year. I would go Lamar over Darnold. Darnold's a little banged up. Seahawks flying east for the 1:00 start. I'm afraid for JSN again. It could be tough sledding for Seattle again this week.
Let's see. Any other interesting ones? J.J. McCarthy versus the Commanders, who are giving up 6 most points to quarterbacks.
Nope.
Can't do it?
Lamar. I can't do it. J.J. McCarthy looks like he doesn't know how to play football.
Tyler Shuck, who's playing the Buccaneers fourth most points to quarterbacks.
Shuck had a nice game too. Shuck came off,
Yeah.
coming off a solid week.
And he might be on waivers in some of your quarterback leagues.
The fucking size testicles you need to actually put Tyler Shuck in the lineup over Lamar. But honestly, it very well could be the right move this week. I mean, we're this isn't a one-game thing with Lamar. Since he came back from his injury, he had his first game back. He had the 4 passing touchdown game, which is great, and everybody was like, "Cool." Kind of weird he didn't run, but hey, we got 4 touchdowns. Everything's cool. And since then, absolute disaster, like 12 points and then single digits, like week after week. So, red alert, fucking Christ, man. If you really can do it, put Tyler Shuck in. It's probably the right call. As fucked up as that sounds, it's probably the right call to put Tyler Shuck in over Lamar Jackson this week.
One final one. Justin Herbert with all the weapons on the Chargers. Trey Lance versus Philly.
Did they call that yet? Did they say it's going to be Lance?
No.
Okay.
Herbert's day-to-day. But
right.
If Herbert is out, if you're saying I'm going to wait, I have Lamar and Herbert or Lance, I'm going to wait. Are you going to wait to see if Herbert and Herbert's out trust Trey Lance? Or are you going to say, I can't risk that one with Lamar?
Lamar.
Well, how about simplify it? It's starting Chargers quarterback. You have both. You're just holding out for Monday night.
Yeah. Chargers quarterback or Lamar?
I think, given what I saw from my Eagles last week, I'm going to put the fucking Charger guy in. It's in L.A. It seems pretty dysfunctional for my Birds right now. It's a fucking mess. They just let the Bears go hamburger on them. Now, granted, it was mainly through the run, but I don't know. I'm starting the Chargers, guys.
Yeah, feels so weird for Lamar. Just what quarterbacks were willing to start over him now? When in many redraft leagues you took him as your quarterback 1 off the board, sometimes 2, 1 to 3, depending on how much Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels. But it seems so bad to do this. But I agree with most of that. Yeah, you're starting a good 12 to 15 quarterbacks over Lamar right now.
Man. Easily. 20. Yeah. All right, man. So let's talk about a little love and hate after we're hating on Lamar so much.
Yeah.
Love the guy. He's going to be fine. He's still like the top dynasty asset, if not second dynasty asset. Like, this isn't an overall hatred of Lamar. It's just he just ain't right physically, I don't think.
Yeah, that's a great thing to note there. Just as we dive into this, we want to dive into our dynasty rankings real quick. If you look on the Fantasy Holics websites, we have dynasty rankings for our session. And those are recently updated by all 4 of our content creators. So please get that. Patrick and I are 2 of the 4 that do that. And so we decided to ask Brian here, take a look at our rankings. Tell us one you love, one you hate. Let's explain a little when you hate. If you're wanting to look through this as we're going through it, again, fantasyholics.com website, Dynasty Rankings, ask us questions or send us message on the Facebook page. But we have Brian's love and hate of each of our rankings here to talk about a little. As you know, if you're out of playoffs in Dynasty or something, at least you have something to look forward to or something to hold yourself onto, whether, okay, these are the people I'm going to be buying later on or keeping an eye out on, trying to get a little ahead of those who might be focusing more on playoffs if you're out, or if you're like me and have some leagues that still have trade deadlines that are open, you have some guys you can go after still. So starting off with a couple of Patrick's rankings, Brian, talk us through your love and hate with Patrick.
So I'll do this for both of you guys. We'll start with the hate because then, we could bicker a little bit, and then we'll do the love where we can just high five and agree with each other. So with the hate, and has zero to do with hating or disliking Ladd McConkey. I actually just sold my first round pick in a dynasty league that I'm pushing in for the championship in for Ladd McConkey because I feel like he's definitely worth that price, if not some more. So no hate for Ladd. But 6 is just very high for me, given a few different things. Given the offense he plays in, that generally they want to be run first if they have their choice to. And then second, more so, even when they throw a lot, there's just a plethora of weapons there to throw to. So I just find it that it's going to be tough for Ladd to finish it at wide receiver 6 or up a lot of weeks. I see him more as like a top 12-ish, a little bit lower. Like I'll agree, I think a little bit above Devontae, but not too much. I'd have him right around there, just maybe a spot or two ahead. So I guess the main thing with love and hate is that I hate it because there's probably multiple guys that I would rank over him, or that I'd have, above Ladd, and not having Ladd at 6. So looking at Patrick's rankings on receiver, let's take a look at who is lower. So he's got Malik Neighbors lower. Malik Neighbors is sitting at 8. Give me Malik Neighbors for sure. Let's also take a look. CeeDee Lamb at 9. That one's going to get you. That's going to get you some trouble, Patrick. CeeDee Lamb at 9 is low. A lot of people have him like 2. So Lamb at 9. I'd say Drake London. You have Drake London at 7, just behind him. I would take London over him. And then I don't think I would really even fight you on much more than that. So, I'd probably have him again at that like 10, 11-ish range. But 6 just seems really high, especially the couple that I just mentioned, Neighbors, London, Lamb especially. Even Nico, you've got down at 13. Rashee Rice down at 11. Those are 2 dudes that I might consider over him. But again, no hatred for Ladd, but it's just 5, 6,
rich
5,
for your blood.
So what say you, Patrick? Talk to me.
Well, for the top, I think the top 5 are indisputable. Chase, Najigba, St. Brown, Nakua. Jefferson's teetering on top 5-ish if they never get the quarterback situation figured out. And then CeeDee Lamb's not right. Neighbors had the knee injury and quarterback uncertainty. It feels like almost every player from about 7 on has a blemish of some kind. Nico Collins is hurt a lot. C.J. Stroud seems like he's regressed. Drake London's he never seems to get a full season together, and it's based on quarterback, not so much the talent. Marvin Harrison hasn't been who we thought who he would be. I probably should have maybe Rashee Rice at 6, but I'm not going much lower on McConkey because they have the franchise quarterback in Herbert. The pieces around McConkey are old. Keenan Allen. You have Quentin Johnson, who may or may not know how to catch a football now. They have an awesome running game. They have an awesome tight end. Like, all the pieces are there for McConkey to continue and ascend. He feels like the beginning stages of Cooper Kupp. It feels like that's his ceiling to me.
I won't disagree with any of that stuff you just said. And I think the way I look at Ladd and why I definitely like him a lot is if I could have him be my second receiver on a dynasty team, if I can have like a real true contender dynasty team and I can have Lamb or I don't know, I know Lamb's not above him for you, but Amon-Ra and then Ladd as like a 1-2, just a constant high floor, awesome. And yeah, he's been healthy. He has an immediate connection with Herbert. I like just the coaching stability there, the whole 9. So we definitely don't have to go too long on that. But I just, like I said, it really just comes down to the 5, 6-ish guys. I would put him above, that you have behind him. So there's that. And now we get to talk about Slim Reaper and how awesome he is and fucking why I agree with you and I love your ranking of him.
I'll jump in real quick for Ladd because we have a comment saying, is McConkey even for sure the wide receiver on the Chargers? And there's a few things because as you guys were talking, I saw that I want to look at a few things. We're looking at Ladd McConkey just stat-wise, targets and receptions. He's hand in hand there with Keenan Allen. But he's still above and Quentin Johnston and anyone else on their team. And then when you even just look at run, McConkey has 180 more routes than Keenan Allen. He has 30 more routes than Quentin Johnston. We're looking at Ladd McConkey while still you still question just because of his fantasy production if he's a wide receiver, just stat wise and what the Chargers are doing. And it's more once Allen moves away, Lad McConkey for me might be in the top 10, but just with what he can do now and what the Chargers have and all their wins, and with Gadsden coming up, and if that's how you say him, I always forget.
Sounds right to me.
It's interesting to see kind of just either, but I think you're right. There's once I would even say the top 4. There's a lot of question marks, or there's question marks on everyone or a lot of the ones you can say from there on out.
Yeah, man, agreed. And to answer the person's question, I definitely think he's the one on their team. Without a doubt. I know QJ definitely stepped up this year, but he's much more catch a long touchdown, and that's why he had a good game. Whereas Lad's just a much better floor, and Lad will still give you monster games with 15 targets and 10 receptions, a decent chunk of the time. So, yeah, I hate hating on high-end players like that. It was really just about the 6 ranking. And with Devontae, I don't need to say too much about it. I like that you have him ranked above some people that probably overall industry wouldn't have him ranked above. Like you have him above Tet. I'm pretty sure most people would probably say they want Tet over him at this point. I think I want Devontae still. Just he's phenomenally talented. What he did at Alabama his senior year, I mean, just his college career in general, but that senior year, he won the fucking Heisman. Receivers don't win the Heisman Trophy. The dude is as good of a receiver as there is walking the face of the earth when it comes to running routes and football IQ and just getting open and getting to the right spot. Anytime the Eagles take their head out of their ass and throw the ball more than a few times a game and they target him more than a few times a game, he has a huge game. It's clockwork. There's never been a game in his career, I feel like, where he was heavily targeted and the Eagles threw at least at a decent ratio that he did not have a good game. It's what happens when you give talented players the ball. So love Devontae. He is literally my favorite player in the world. Full biased. He's the only guy that I let myself go homer with in my dynasty leagues. I overpaid for him, and I roster him more than almost any wide receiver. But it's because he's my favorite, and it's also because he's that fucking good. So love him there at 14. Love that you have him that high. I think he well deserves it, and I think we're pretty guaranteed to be moving on from A.J. Brown, and even more rocket ship to Slim, because then he's just instantly the alpha receiver in the offense.
Well, it seems like they completely moved away from A.J. Brown until like a couple weeks ago, and then
correct.
Squeaky Wheel got the grease. Like, no, damn it, no! Keep throwing to Slim.
And even in these games where AJ's gone ham, Devontae's still gotten you like 6 for 70 or similar lines to that. So he's still not killing you. He's giving you like getting you in the teens points even when AJ's going full nuclear on the other side. So just love him to death. I don't really think I have to say much more about him.
I'm definitely one of the people who will take McMillan over Devontae Smith. Granted, once AJ Brown leaves, and if Young doesn't keep kind of this progression where he strung there a few good games, just as that comparison that you made there, like I could be tipping either direction. Now I have Smith down a little lower on my rankings. I have him all the way down to 21, but I think 13 to 21, 13 to 25 range for me is most interchangeable, and that's where there's a question mark on every single one that, depending on who you like, I could see that entire range being flip-flopped depending on who you are.
Yeah, man. Love it. I totally agree. That whole grouping, you could just shuffle them like a deck of cards and make a case for any of them being, your favorite or should be higher, should be lower type of thing. But they were just two that jumped out to me this afternoon when I was checking out the list. So love it. Good stuff. Zach, let me pick your shit apart here. All right.
Bring it on.
So we'll start with the hate. RJ Harvey, a dude that I have a lot of shares of, a dude that was definitely a draft bust, especially for redraft and dynasty. I think we talked about it earlier in the year. I hope you're smart enough, savvy enough in Dynasty that you didn't draft RJ Harvey and think he was going to be the RB2 right off the rip for your competitive teams. But he was drafted as a starting running back for redraft, and he killed you until pretty recently. Now that he's getting a good look and a good share of the work in Sean Payton's offense, loving what I'm seeing. I think he finished as the RB2 on the week this week, if I'm not mistaken. Slow week, down week for running backs, but I'm pretty sure he was right behind Bijan with the multi-touchdown game. So I think 26 is low. I know there's a lot of age jokes. There's a lot of age jokes with RJ Harvey. That's, he's close to that age already, but he is on his rookie contract, and the way that I view, and this is Dynasty Rankings we're talking about, I live in like 6-month windows with running backs for Dynasty. He is on his rookie contract. Sean Payton's not going to spend draft capital on a running back next year. They're giving him, he's going to get the full lion's share of the work. He seems to be fitting in. He seems to be getting more comfortable. Given that he's a rookie, given that he's only going to be a second-year player next year going through this offseason, I think there's a lot of guys that you have above him that I personally would rather have, especially when we're talking Dynasty, where he's going to probably, unless he turns into a catastrophe or injured, at least the next 3 seasons after this one, he's locked in and on a cheap rookie contract that I'm pretty sure Sean Payton will utilize him as his main back or like a 1A, 1B type of thing. So that being said, let's take a look. The main, of course, the Jonathan Taylor, Jenty Gibbs, all these guys, Hampton, Cook, that you have above him. No argument there. But let me take a look at some of these guys that you have lower into the teens and stuff. Let's see. Travis Etienne you have ahead of him. Kenneth Walker you have ahead of him. Not by a ton, but you do have him some spots ahead. Derrick Henry you have at 16. He is King Henry. I think he could literally retire at the end of this year, though. I don't know. I don't think he will, but I mean, with Henry, it's a completely age thing. He is a superhuman, but he's so far beyond when you should be worried about running backs age-wise that give me RJ Harvey in a dynasty format. Let me see who else we got hiding down here. We've got Jalen Warren a couple spots ahead of him. Yeah. Chase Brown. I don't know if Chase Brown's even going to be the guy there. I could easily see them bringing somebody else in and him kind of taking a step back. So Rico Dowdle, he got ahead of him. Woody Marks. I like Woody Marks, but I'm going to take RJ Harvey over him. So that's kind of where I'm at. I just think that that's low given the circumstances, given that he was a day 2 pick, given that he's starting to flash. So that's where I'm at with the hatred on 26.
Fair enough. Now, that was a question for RJ Harvey, and then share a few things about why I have him ranked lower. I had him much higher to start the season, very high on him to start the season, but seeing play even the last weeks has me drop him down. My question is he a good running back, or is he just being carried by touchdowns? Because at it, 32% of his rushing attempts on the season have been the last 2 games. And he's had a total of 65 yards. He has had 24 rushing attempts for 65 yards the last 2 games. And sure, he's a running back. He only averages 3 per game. And these 2 games haven't changed. It's been 3 and 4 targets. And he even has 26 yards. Well, okay, he catches passes and he does well with it. He does. He only has of 65 scrimmage yards or greater. So, sure, he's a pass catching and a running. He doesn't get that yardage. He doesn't get the targets. He doesn't. He's not even snap shares. He wasn't even over 50% snap share last game. He is split snaps with Jaleel Laughlin and Tyler Batty, who took 25 snap shares each. And sure, Harvey got the brunt of the rushing attempt, and he rushed 13 times for 30 yards. So for me, when I'm looking at all these stats for RJ Harvey, for me, he's in a good offense. He had day 2 draft capital. Is if you get rid of those touchdowns, and we know touchdowns very give or take, you could have, look at Montgomery 2 where he had 20 touchdowns, something like that. Now he completely off. Or maybe years ago, I might be dating myself a little. Touchdowns aren't consistent. And when you're looking at Harvey stats and what he does, so much of it is just touchdown dependent scoring. He would have had 80 over 12 games without it. I have lower on that ranking simply stats. When you're looking at these other, Walker and Travis Etienne have shown that they've done well, and they're scoring more than them still, and they have a higher snap percentage. And you're looking at the Jaguars, hopefully next year gets better once they get rid of their terrible passing coach and they have an offensive coordinator, and Travis Hunter is back, and you're looking at Chase Brown, who has now done better because once their skill guys here, and maybe Joe Burrow's back. And so when you're looking at all these things, I'm looking at Harvey. He's not going to get you chunks of yards. You're hoping on a touchdown, and that's why I have Harvey ranked lower. I want to see him, and not just great. He got touchdowns and he scored me 18 points. I want him to have a 15-point game with no touchdowns a couple times, and then I'll bump him up my ratings. But even the last 2 games where Dobbins been out, he hasn't done well, and that's why I'm starting to worry about him in Dynasty stats a little.
Touchdowns are definitely not sticky, but Sean Payton making any running back on his team very relevant for fantasy is sticky. And I don't disagree. He hasn't been efficient with his touches, but for me, it's mainly the situational thing and what Sean Payton, his offenses have done with their running backs, and just the fact that he's, barring something weird, he's locked into a significant role in the backfield with Sean Payton for at least the next 2 years. And again, I'm talking 6-month windows for my running back care. So very, totally understandable. You made lots of good points and numbers why you have him there. But that was just the one that jumped out to me, because I just give me the Sean Payton running backs. He's had such irrelevant, talentless running backs matter for fantasy just because they're his running back.
And it's funny, 2 takes of the same coin, where I have him ranked lower because of I've taken on your same mindset of 6 to 12 month window running backs. There are other ones I think I can get more value over in that time. It's very interesting, that same idea, but 2 sides of the coin coming from it. But yeah, I'm the one. I have a ton of Harvey shares too, so I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's definitely. I have lots, no doubt about it, man. And then for the love, I love that I saw you with Mahomes all the way at 2. It's been very cool for fantasy wise. I don't like the Chiefs as an Eagles fan. They're kind of arch rivals from a different conference for us, with all the battles and the Super Bowls and all that horseshit. But at the end of the day, Mahomes, it's been awesome seeing him get back to Mahomes form. Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Kelsey's still like the tight end 2 or 3 on the year, which is pretty wild, but he really is. Their defense has taken a little bit of a step back. He's just throwing more, running more, and at the end of the day, I could very much see myself just taking him over Lamar Jackson, even, who I'm seeing struggle like crazy. And Lamar there's just no shot in hell, as he's getting closer to 30 and hits 30, that he runs for 1,000 yards again. And if he can't throw, he's not. If we're just talking about the throwing and passing stats of Lamar versus the throwing passing stats of Mahomes, give me Mahomes. And Mahomes is now, I believe, 30, if not very close to it, and he's running more than he ever has. Mahomes runs very effectively and efficiently.
Yes.
Just gets it done. He's one of my favorite little legs of a parlay, is to give Mahomes like 20 yards rushing. And we know what he does with his arm. He's as electric of a quarterback as we've ever seen throw the ball in the NFL. It's an extremely well-run organization. They draft well, they trade well, they make great free agent moves. Love that you have him there. I very much agree with you, and a lot of people be like, "Oh my God, give me Jaden Daniels, give me Lamar Jackson, give me I don't know who, Burrow, whoever's like 4 consensus, Jalen Hurts, whatever." But I'd say Josh Allen 1, Mahomes 2 for me if I was actually sitting down and doing rankings.
Yeah, I that's actually how I have it. I have Josh Allen 1, Mahomes 2, Lamar 3 right now. And I think so many people for Mahomes got caught up last year. He was quarterback 11 in many leagues. He didn't have the weapons. He didn't look as good. But exactly it. He was throwing to a rookie wide receiver worthy. Kelsey, who was a little banged up last year, and Rice was injured the entire year. Hollywood Brown was injured much of the year. DeAndre Hopkins was a shell of himself. Whereas when you see him have actually some better weapons, the rush game has a lot to be desired. But Rashee Rice is doing amazing, and we realize, oh yeah, Mahomes is still a top quarterback, and that's a great point. Mahomes is on pace to set a career high in rushing yards this year. He has 4 rushing touchdowns, which tied career high. He's on to about 420 rushing yards. He's 7 interceptions, 22 touchdown passes, on pace for over 4,000 passing. Like I think last year we just forgot a lot of times the Dynasty is so short-minded of he had a bad last year. Oh, what is Mahomes? And he's showing us what he really is. He's a top 5 quarterback. We shouldn't have forgotten about it. He's going to be that for another 3, 4, 5 years. And I hate to say I dropped him. I think he was my quarterback 9 or 10 to start the season in Dynasty Rankings. And I realized that was a mistake. Pump him back up.
It was a bad multiple years.
Yeah.
Fantasy-wise. They were a dynasty Super Bowl winning dynasty for those years, but it wasn't fun for fantasy because they were winning with defense and clock control, and he didn't have to. It didn't change the ability that Patrick Mahomes has or the creative genius of Andy Reid and his offensive scheme. They just were winning without having to Mahomes go nuclear, and it seems like the situation now is he's back to having to do it, and guess what? He can still do it. So, Fuck yeah, give me Mahomes. He's a dude that I will end up making a lot of trade offers for in the offseason if anybody still thinks that he is not the QB 2 or 3. If people have him ranked down in the 5-6 range, I'll be making a lot of Mahomes inquiries and acquisitions this offseason, man.
Smart.
The NFL is more fun when Mahomes is throwing for 5,000 yards. I don't like 3,900-yard Patrick Mahomes. That's boring. That's just – it's like having a Corvette and driving the speed limit or 3 under.
Right.
See, I think the NFL is more entertaining when Mahomes is throwing for 5,000 yards and the Chiefs are losing. So I want the Corvette to be speeding but then get pulled over by the police.
Oh, yeah. A lot of it has to do with Rashee Rice, too. That dude, since coming into the league, other than when he's been hurt or suspended, is a fucking monster. And Mahomes knows how to take advantage of him. They scheme him up right. And Xavier Worthy, I like Xavier Worthy a lot. He's taken a hit in his stats and everything since Rice came back, obviously. But anytime they want to get creative with him, he's a fucking weapon. He's one of the fastest dudes in the NFL. He's had monster games in this league. So both 2 very young, awesome weapons for him, even if as Kelsey ages out and moves on. And knowing that organization, they will just continue to bring in the right pieces and keep him protected and keep that offense moving. So, yeah, give me Mahomes easily. QB2, love it.
Yeah, I love it.
Our Dynasty Rankings are on the Fantasyholics website. Take a look at that. Send us messages. Ask us questions about any of it. We'll gladly explain more, talk more. We'll up more in the off season as well. fantasy playoffs. Once off season starts for fantasy purposes, we'll be diving into these more, looking into next rookies, diving that. So please ask us questions, and we'll continue to bring it up. But we had a full plate of games this last week. What is it? The first time all two teams have been played since week 3, I believe.
Was it week 4? I think there was week 5, the first bye week maybe. So it was week 4.
Yeah. It's been a long time. So we have a lot of games to talk about, a lot of games to catch up on, and some very good games in of itself. Some very close ones, some good divisional games kicking off. While we had some games that were blowouts, but did not feel the fantasy space. So we'll just dive right in.
Yeah, man. Biggest takeaway for me from the big NFC North matchup that kicked us off, the Amon-Ra injury. Fucking brutal, man. Your superstar, ass-kicking, top-end wide receiver one got you 0 points to start your Thanksgiving off, and that shit sucks. And they're playing again in 2 days, this Thursday, and he hasn't practiced yet. I'd be very shocked if Amon-Ra plays. So downside of that is if you have Amon-Ra and he's your best wide receiver and you need a big win this week, ouch. That is a shitty way to get knocked out of your playoffs because you don't have your top weapon. So that sucks. And on the glass half full side to that, Jameson Williams, if you got him, congratulations, because other than that one goose for the last month plus, he's been amazing. And there is no reason he shouldn't be again on Thursday versus the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, that's kind of my only big takeaway. I don't really see much different out of the – well, you know what? Let me give Jordan Love his flowers. Got me 30 fucking points finally in the leagues that I roster him in. So, great to see. Hopefully they can kind of keep that rolling. But, yeah, the Amon-Ra thing's the big takeaway for me.
Yeah, on the flip side, you still can't trust Green Bay's wide receivers. I mean, they had a great game. Love had 4 touchdowns. Wicks got 5 points plus. Watson got 15 plus. Same with Dobbs. But you can't trust him. I mean, Wicks didn't have more than 10 points a single game until he had 2 touchdowns for 90 plus yards, whereas Watson had one reception. Sorry, for 10. But he still only got you 18 points. But when you're talking about 10 receptions for a threat or 10 targets for a deep threat, you're hoping for more. And Dobbs still only got you 12 yards. If you're having to start a wide receiver, it's Christian Watson for that boom or bust. But I still wouldn't feel comfortable starting any of these guys if I really am hoping and needing to get into the fantasy playoffs. I don't know if I can trust a Green Bay wide receiver unless I really need that boom game. Then I'm putting in Christian Watson, going all in. Otherwise, yep. I'm better than someone else.
Yeah, it's Christian Watson, and again, I totally agree with you. He's a dude where if I'm this week to get into the playoffs or in the first round of the playoffs, I'm the underdog and I need that boom, go ahead and put Christian Watson in your flex instead of like a David Montgomery, like floor play guy, because him getting you 25 on a big, long touchdown bomb or 2 might be the only thing that gets you that win. But yeah, he's the only one I even feel like that's worth having on a roster right now. I preached every week in my waiver wire article about this time of year, if you're a playoff team, gut your bench and just turn it into a playoff machine. Just get extra defenses, get a backup, quarterback that you can trust. Draft, bring 3 defenses in and line all that up. But dudes like, I don't know, Romeo Dobbs and Dontavian Wicks and shit, they have no business on a playoff team's bench.
Yeah,
don't like it at all. So yeah, Watson's rosterable, but Josh Jacobs, better days ahead. He came back. I feel like he kind of rushed back from the injury. I feel like he may have saw Emmanuel Wilson go crazy in his absence. And so like, hey, I better get back in there and remind everybody that I'm Josh Jacobs, and he had a pretty dud game. He only got you like 10-ish points. But yeah, Josh Jacobs is in the cold weather with them.
Yep.
He's their bell cow. He'll have better days through the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's a Bears-Packers game this week where the Bears are giving up a lot of points to wide receivers, but it also it's very, very cold right in Bear country. Just
in either of those stadiums, right?
Yes. That's right. It is at Green Bay. But yeah. In either case, it's very cold, and that is also going to limit the pass, even if Bears defense is giving up a lot of points to wide receivers. That's another reason I'm maybe flexing Christian Watson on Sunday. But again, unless if I'm not the underdog in the matchup, give me someone else. That's my opposite takeaway from the lines for this game.
Fair enough. What did you guys think of Chiefs Cowboys? Definitely gave us a lot of firepower. I think it was CeeDee Lamb's best game of the season yet.
Yeah, it was a little lower scoring than I thought, but Lamb sort of got back on the right track. Pickens is awesome. He's mentally keeping it all together too. No outbursts, no nonsense yet.
Easily my worst take of the off season and preseason is that Pickens is, a head case and not worth his ADP. Shut me up. I got nothing bad to say about him. He's earning himself bank. Jerry's already talking about there's no way we're letting him leave. Jerry likes spending money. Jerry needs a defense, but Jerry will go ahead and give another mega contract to George Pickens, and that also means Jerry's the gift that keeps on giving for fantasy, because we're going to have another year of a shitty Cowboys defense and a bunch of offensive studs. So yes, good.
Yeah. You're not going to get the dramatic Pickens until the contract negotiations happen, and that's when it's going to come out. But, I mean, even in the game, Pickens had more targets than Lamb. That you're starting to question, Lamb came back from a little bit of an injury and here or there, but is it like a 1A, 1B situation? Is Pickens really the wide receiver one on that team? Like, that's where I had to drop Lamb down in my Dynasty Rankings. Some is what's happening with the Pickens situation there. Is Dak's really getting into feeding Pickens? Is that because Lamb's not back healthy? Is it because Pickens is just that good of a wide receiver? Like, what's going on? So it's a lot of questions to see the rest of the season, the off season, what contract Pickens gets. That's a situation to monitor on all accounts of any stock in Pickens and Lamb. Or on the flip side, if someone's selling them cheap because they're worried, it might become a buy low situation too.
13 weeks into the season, George Pickens is the wide receiver 2.
Yeah. Thank God he's out of Pittsburgh. I mean, Aaron Rodgers and his 119 yards a game, it would have just completely torpedoed Pickens. And
Pickens had already been throwing helmets on the sidelines and fucking kicking a cheerleader or something like it. But put him in this environment, give him lots of targets. Look what he can do. Man, just absolutely the shittiest call I had all off season, no doubt about it. He's been absolutely fucking electric. Good for him. Good for fantasy. I never want to see anybody struggle. I wish every game was 46 to 37 when it comes to fantasy football.
Yeah.
With the Chiefs, I think we talked just a bunch about Mahomes, so I don't have to say much about him. But my takeaway is Pacheco came back, but it was still a lot of mainly Kareem Hunt, and I think Kareem Hunt is a dude that I am very okay starting the rest of the way through in fantasy through the playoffs. The Kansas City, a lot of people don't think of Kansas City as like freakishly cold the way that Green Bay and Chicago get, or even like New England, but they have the craziest cold games. Remember that game like, was it last or 2 years ago, where Andy Reid had the complete icicle snot, like it was. I have like a screenshot of it somewhere on my phone, but there's horrifically cold and bad weather games in Kansas City, and I could absolutely see them having a game just like the other week where Kareem Hunt gets 33 fucking carries for 98 yards and 3 touchdowns because it's just impossible to throw. So yeah, that's kind of the only thing I really wanted to point out on the Kansas City side, other than the obvious of fucking start Mahomes and Rashee Rice and Kelsey.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I was going to point out is Pacheco back. He might have been on a snap down, but 3 rushing attempts versus Hunt 14. Hunt's the one you really want in the back in this backfield. Pacheco has not looked good since coming back from his injury last year. When he broke one of the bones in his leg, and he hasn't had that same explosiveness, and I don't think he will get back to that. That hurts the Chiefs offense for sure. It makes them more one-dimensional. I mean, Mahomes can get around that. We saw him get around that, but the Chiefs offense looks so much better when they had a rushing. And now Hunt is great at give me 2-3 yards to that, but breaking big runs, a little past where Hunt is at in his career, that they need to be looking at a running back in the offseason somewhere else to supplement, extend Hunt again and get someone to implement that. Kind of like a Gibbs Montgomery situation. Got your Montgomery and Hunt, get you who's the Gibbs that you're going to get. That is going to make the Chiefs offense explode like it was years and years ago, which would be very interesting to see if they can manage. But yeah, Hunt's the one who started.
The other big thing with Hunt is they trust him. He's very good in pass pro, and he doesn't fumble. So it's like he's a coach's wet dream out there. Andy Reid knows that he can put him out there to protect Mahomes. He's not going to make any fuck ups, and if they need him to get a first down, a 2-3 yard first down, it's almost automatic with him. So it's like, yeah, I love. He seems to be improving as the year goes on too. Like he seems even having a little bit more burst than he did in the first couple of weeks of the year. So yeah, love him as a trade target if you can get a hold of him for your playoff run, especially in Dynasty. He's so fucking cheap. Most teams could give a shit about Kareem Hunt in Dynasty. They're like, oh my god, that guy's 30 years old.
Oh my god,
get Kareem Hunt for your playoff run.
I still have trades on one league, and I can't get a fourth Hunt. It doesn't make sense to me, but here's an interesting question. Favored in your matchup next week, Hunt or Christian Watson?
If I'm favored, Hunt.
Easy? Even against the Bears defense for Watson?
If I'm favored, I want Hunt's floor.
Yeah. I would agree.
Fair enough.
We talk so much about the Bengals and Lamar's struggles. I don't think we have to say much about the Ravens currently. You guys got anything on the Bengals side or anything else about the Ravens?
I mean, Toro looked great coming back.
They did that without T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Yikes. The Bengals are going to have like the most unlikely. They're going to make the playoffs. Watch, they're going to make the playoffs.
They could.
They're going to be 3-6, like a completely lost season. Just write it off, and then Flacco kept them treading water for a little bit. Joe Burrow is magically healed, and like the Cowboys, they have a horrible defense, probably worse than the Cowboys. And if they could maybe defend a tight end a little bit, they're gonna mess up and get their way into the playoffs. It'll be crazy. And if that team makes the playoffs, and Tomlin and Harbaugh might be out of a job if the Bengals make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know off the top of your head, do the Bengals have any Thursday night football games left? Are they one of the Thursday games?
I can take a look real quick. I'm not sure.
I only mention that because I think if the Bengals play on Thursday night, Anthony Gonzalez from the booth might get you a couple points. Him and Whitworth with his fucking hoodie and blazer. Tony Gonzalez might get you a couple points against the Bengals if that bad. But yeah, man, Barrow, shit defense, great weapons. Just the gift that keeps on giving, man. You know, gotta love it. The same way we like having the Cowboys have a down defense. They're the AFC and NFC equivalent to each other, really.
Yeah,
makes me a little sad that the Cowboys traded for Quinnen Williams, and he seems to be paying some dividends for them. But the Cowboys still just gave up 28 points even in a win, so it's still good for fantasy.
I will point out, fantasy purposes, Chase Brown over the last 5 games has been running back 15 or greater on 3, and he only has touchdowns in that 5-game stretch. So it's all rushing yards, reception, and he's giving you running back 13 or greater on 2 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, so he's been a volume hog for
phenomenal. Sure. And it's still matchups through. Buffalo is weaker against the run. Baltimore, he just gave you 18 points in PPR. Miami, Arizona, like he's going to be getting people through the playoffs moving forward, which is very interesting to see.
Brown's been good since it was Flacco. That's where the big change happened with Brown's season, because he was a lost cause. He was like borderline droppable there until Flacco took over. So yeah, Chase Brown, he's definitely it.
He's come a long way from like getting hit before the line of scrimmage every single touch.
Sure. Well, my Eagles suck. They're getting their asses handed to them week after week now. There's clearly disruption in the locker room, and this offensive coordinator. Here's what I see from the Eagles as someone who watches their every move for decades now. This season, offensively especially, it mirrors so much after they won their first Super Bowl. The following year, they let their coordinator walk, and they just said, you know what, we're just going to bring somebody from in-house in. We'll just, it'll be fine. We're just going to bring somebody that no one's ever heard of. I don't know, Kevin Patullo, I think is his name. This dude is running just the most generic, basic offense. The shittiest part about it is when they've been like in situations where they need to throw and they launch the ball around, they can fucking air it out. They've got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and Goddard's a very good tight end. They can make it happen. We've seen 300-yard passing, multiple touchdown games from them, but they just seem to want to run Saquon into a beat-up offensive line. That's clearly not what they usually are, and it's frustrating as shit for fantasy. It's frustrating as shit as an Eagles fan, and it's no fun. It's no good. A.J. Brown's been nuclear. He was the best wide receiver this week for fantasy, which is cool. But so many teams that drafted A.J. Brown have been out of playoff contention for weeks now, so he's not even doing much for those teams.
Yep.
You're still probably starting Jalen Hurts. You're still probably starting both receivers. You're still probably starting Saquon, but it ain't fun. And I'm curious what happens the rest of the year, but I don't see them making much noise in the playoffs. I could see it being just like the year I discussed, where they kind of looked like shit. They got into the playoffs. They had to go down to Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay just handed their ass to them in round 1, and that was the end of the season. I could easily see a similar outcome unless they make some drastic changes. But if you guys want to dunk on my Birds a little bit, go right ahead. They've earned it.
No, I think the only thing I'll mention as the resident Bears expert is Roma Dunze is still inconsistent. I mean, he has had 21 targets over the last 3 games with only exceptions. Not even 100 yards, actually 102 yards touchdown. Like he hasn't had the receptions. Part of it dropped some. Part of it, Caleb Williams isn't hitting him where he needs to be. And that's a little worrisome, where Caleb Williams needs to be more accurate, but they're still getting the job done. I mean, most of the win against Philly was the running backs. Monungai is great if you have him. He seems to be establishing himself 50-50 role with Swift right now, which is crazy to think. But the last few weeks, it's been 50-50 split. Bears fans are loving Monungai. His jerseys are going off the shelves. So that's a great sign for his offense as a whole, that they just are getting more and more weapons are coming out of the woodwork. But Adunze's consist is a struggle, where he's such a hot start to the season and up and down, and now he's been down the last 3 games, that hopefully he can pick it back up. Love to see him great against Green Bay the next 3 weeks. They're playing Green Bay. They have a bye, then they're playing Green Bay. Sorry, not a bye. They're playing Cleveland. But yeah, it's mainly Adunze is a person you're struggling to start now, even though he started so well.
His point totals are reminding me of another Bear that I'm a fan of. Plays the same position. Seen big things over the years. Good old DJ, but it's fuck, man. It's not good. I can't imagine confidently starting. I mean, you got to put Rome almost in the same category as DJ Moore at this point when it comes to like confidence in starting them. I mean, I guess I'd still rather start Rome if I had to start one of them, but I sure as fuck don't want to put either one of those two into my playoff lineups, or my trying to get into the playoff lineups. And as we mentioned multiple times in the last few weeks and tonight, we're talking about ice cold shit weather, snow, sideways rain in Chicago, this time of year. I don't think that's going to help the passing game. I think Rome is going to continue to struggle, and he's not a dude I'm looking to start at all.
Yeah. I think part of it's Caleb Williams still figuring it out with that Ben Johnson offense, but that's a look at him for next thing. That's unfortunately the patches you can probably trust right now on the Bears are Loveland, and he's still 50-50 some depending, and trust the running backs maybe.
Oh yeah, by the way, they won again and they're the first seed in the NFC, but talks amongst yourselves. That's fucking crazy. Outrageous.
Yeah. I think if Moore gets moved, like a lot of people think in the offseason, Adunze is gonna become that guy. He's gonna have more of the targets. He's gonna have more, get that consistency with Caleb. But you hate to say it's dependent upon moving such a caliber wide receiver as DJ Moore.
But Moore's not even getting a ton of work now, and Adunze isn't doing a lot with the couple snaps. I don't know. He's got to earn it. Got to earn those routes and snaps and targets.
Yeah,
he didn't have a really bad drop or something, did he? That put him in the doghouse that he hasn't been able to recover from.
It's funny. Rome and Moore went back-to-back goose eggs. DJM had a goose egg, and then Rome had a goose egg the following week, or vice versa. And then looking at so here's DJ Moore's game log. Rome's was like 0, 20, 4, 8, 6, 2, or whatever. DJ Moore 11, 24, 0, 3, 23, 4. So it's like, again, both of them are fucking really good wide receivers. They'll get you the job done if they get the passes generally. But who the fuck wants to trust either one of them?
Yeah.
At least apparently. They've got a lot of red matchups too. Their next 3 are at Green Bay, Cleveland, Green Bay, which are all reddish orange when it comes to the sleeper system of good or bad matchups. So not ideal. We're talking outdoors and grossness in all of them too.
Yeah. I worry that it's Caleb Williams more than Adunze. I mean, again, we have a comment here. He says he's had 90 targets and has caught less than half of them. But when you look at his drops, he has 3 or 4 drops on the season. So he has 4 drops on the season and only 18 contested targets, which means that there's a good 20, 25 there that are just uncatchable. That's a worry. A lot of these are Caleb Williams scrambling and throwing it near Odunze that's racking these up. But that's a next year problem. This year, Odunze or Christian Watson next week. I almost think you have to go Christian Watson.
Yeah,
I think I will.
Yeah, that's where we're at. It's a struggle, but
it's tough.
Yeah.
Nobody doubts Odunze or Moore's talent either. It's just a weird scenario there.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's see. We're an hour and 5 in. We're just getting to the second column of the scoreboard. Let's see. Maybe we condense 2 of them here. Niners, Browns, Titans, Jags. What do you guys got storyline wise here? What jumps out? What do you feel like needs to be talked about?
Bunch of quarterbacks.
Hey, you're talking about my quarterback 1, Trevor Lawrence, this coming week, buddy. Be nice.
Wow.
My starter.
Yeah. Your other choice is quarterback 30, Lamar Jackson. So
yeah, right.
But I mean, like, Shooter Sanders, who knows what's going to happen with him? Cleveland coaching staff is happy with his progress, but he's great. Cam Ward, you can say the same thing with him. Neither really have great weapons outside of maybe 1 or 2. Now, offensive lines are great. Purdy's looking better coming back off of his almost 4 interception week last week. But, I mean, when I think of these games, outside of Christian McCaffrey, I couldn't tell you who did well on any of them. Like, nothing really sticks out. It's similar to the Vikings games that is coming up. That when you look at that, Seahawks scored 26. Their offense, no one did anything for you fantasy-wise on offense as well as defense. Looking at this game, I'm like, Christian McCaffrey had a good game, but the rest, fantasy-wise, it's outside of Lawrence, McCaffrey, maybe Purdy. It's hard to start Fannin. It's hard to start or even be excited about anyone else.
I'm okay.
Brian Thomas Jr. had a good game. It looked like he's kind of back. He's invigorated. He's had a few weeks off, and the NFL waits with bated breath for Shadir Sanders versus Cam Ward this week. Must see TV. Must see first team to 10 wins, I guess.
Did you say Brian Thomas had a good game this last week?
He looked good. I really think he was running crisper routes. Made some good contested catches, made some tough catches in traffic. He looked better.
Okay. I was just looking at his stat line, and I'm like, he didn't have a good game, but running better routes is more tape thing. So, okay. I'll give it to you.
I will say, I will flex Jacoby Myers. He seems to be part of the game plan, and also Brenton Strange.
Yeah.
I almost asked for him to be the waiver wire graphic today for the article because he's been instant offense since he came back. Lawrence loves throwing to him. He's been a top 7 tight end 2 weeks in a row since he came back, and he was active at the end of last year and the beginning of this year before he got hurt. So, yeah, Brenton Strange is playable. Tight end's a mess, as always. If you don't have Trey McBride or Brock Bowers, you're probably looking for somebody to start, and Strange is a solid option.
Fair enough.
And nothing to say about the Titans, literally. We could talk a dynasty about Cam Ward on another date, but, that's about it for the Titans.
So, Patrick, what's happened to Colts?
Oh, man. Daniel Jones is limping everywhere. He's a real man playing through this broken leg. Taylor was kept in check. Pittman and Downs are almost, I can't trust any of them. Alex Pierce looks very good. I thought he was just a deep shot guy. I didn't think he'd really pan out to be a dependable target. Pierce and Warren are the whole passing game. Teams are starting to stack the box more against Taylor. With Pittman and Downs falling off, the defenses aren't covering them as closely and tightly as they were. The Texans' defense is fantastic. They beat the Bills the week before, held Indy in check. Stroud was back and looked pretty good. Yeah, the Colts, they've lost 2 in a row, 2 of 3. I think they started 7-1, and they're like 2-3 lately. They're sputtering. Their schedule's only getting tougher. So, for fantasy purposes, if you rode Jonathan Taylor this long, hope he can give you 3 or 4 more good weeks. But I can't start. I mean, Pittman might be a flex. Downs is a bench.
Alec Pierce. You starting Alec Pierce?
Yeah, he looks great. As like a wide receiver too, not even a flex. He's improving every week. He looks really good. Yeah. Not just a deep threat. He's curl route, drag route, corner post. He's running all the routes well. Him and Jones have a good rapport. He's probably their wide receiver 1 at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's startable. He's one of those guys that it's feels a little weird pulling the trigger on starting him, but he's definitely been the more consistent. Daniel Jones seems to have eyes for him. I wanted to look at this because the main thing that I'm worried about Texans wise, by far and away, their most important fantasy asset is Nico Collins. And as someone that's been relying on him all year in my main redraft league, I just wanted to see where he's at with in points per game. He missed a couple games, so I don't want to look at his overall, but a little bit of a shaky start, but it's felt very nice and consistent having him in my lineup the last month or so, and I just had to check. He's up to the wide receiver 10 on the year as far as points per game go, so that's nice. It seems like they got him a rushing touchdown last week. I'd assume that with their good defense, excellent defense, they might have the best defense in football, honestly. With Stroud now another game back from his injury, settling a little bit more, I could see a nice finish for Nico and Jaden Higgins as well. He's really stepped into that 2 role, giving you a nice like 10, 12, 13 point floor a lot of the game. So like Nico, like Higgins, you guys know I like Woody Marks. He continues to be like a mid-lower RB2 start for me for sure. Schultz is a startable tight end.
Yeah. Higgins has 36 targets in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
He's stepping it up.
He's involved, no doubt. He's probably the best receiver on the waiver article this week. Definitely. He's still only like Higgins is still only like 36% rostered in ESPN. Wow. So pre-draft at least. So he should definitely be a guy that when I say tighten up your bench for the playoff push, that's a guy that I like having. Nico goes down, that dude steps into an immediate startable role.
Yeah. The only thing I'll add is Alec Pierce has on more Michael Pittman in the last 5. So Pierce is looking at stepping up into that wide receiver 1 role for the Colts. Now, again, with Daniel Jones' injury, limiting his mobility, tough matchup. Again, it's hard starting him, but he's someone to, again, tighten your bench, pick him up if he's still on waivers, sit him, wait to see how Daniel Jones is looking, and if you need to plug him in, out of all those wide receivers, Alec Pierce is the one I'm starting.
While I have this list up in front of me, who would you guys guess is the wide receiver 1 in points per game in full PPR as of now?
Probably not Jan after that. Puka still?
JSN dipped down to number 2 by decimal points after his shit week. this week. No, number 1 is Rashee Rice.
Wow.
21 point, and again, asterisk, Rice was suspended, but he's been back for some time now. This isn't like one or two good games from Rice. So Rashee Rice, as in full PPR, is currently wide receiver 1 in points per game with 21.8, JSN 21.6, Puka 20.3. Those are your top 3 in points per game. And yeah, man, Rashee Rice, what a gem you have if you drafted him or traded for him or just had him stashed down on your bench through the suspension.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Alrighty, much to say about Tyler Shuck and Tua Tagovailoa. Anything? You know, yeah. Achan's a stud.
Achan's a stud. Shuck looked good.
Shuck put up some numbers.
He's no J.J. McCarthy, that's for sure.
He's 14 years older than J.J. McCarthy.
True.
I mean, honestly, like,
yeah.
Olave, you're happy to start. Achan, you're happy to start. Waddle down week, but I can't imagine many leagues where you have Waddle that you're not starting him. Anything beyond that? I don't really have much beyond that.
No, nothing that changes fantasy-wise for me.
Juwan Johnson's been good. Tight end sucks.
Oh, yeah. Juwan Johnson's he's set and forget unless you have one of the top end guys. Yeah, Juwan's been nice. Jets beat the Falcons. That one was kind of shocking. Tyrod Taylor had a decent game for fantasy. Brees, you're obviously starting Brees if you got him. He's not the RB2 or whatever that we all hoped for in Dynasty for a while there, but he's still a very, very solid asset. Nobody's mad about having Brees on their team in any format. Adonai Mitchell, welcome to the NFL. John Mechie, after 2 weeks of looking really good, had like 5 horrific drops, man, which I was sad to see. I mean, what a cool story for Mechie. 2 weeks in a row was really just like stepped in as the one there, like a possession guy, and then he was just dropping passes left and fucking right.
Mitchell and Mitchell switched hands for the day.
I guess, yeah.
Must be. Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I'm flexing Mitchell even after this strong of a game.
No.
It's a good game, but it's his first good game on the season. I'm leaving him on my bench still. I don't even think I feel comfortable picking him up right now. I'm waiting that out. Get another game and we'll see.
With the Falcons, obviously, Bijan, incredible running back 1 on the week. Not much else to say about Bijan. London, as someone with him, as also as my league of record team, my 1-2 has been London Nico all year, but now no Nico. No London. So I'm really, really hoping that he comes back for the playoff run. I've heard some whispers that the Falcons might not rush him back or might just leave him out for the rest of the year, since it's basically a lost season for them, I believe. I don't think they have any playoff hopes. Pennick's already out, so for my greedy fantasy purposes, I'd love to see London come back, but he might be done, but keep an eye on it. Pitts had a big game. Not that anybody's really excited to go out and start Pitts, but if London is truly done for the year, just by default, Pitts should have some volume and a role. Cousins, second week in a row, I guess he's looked capable at least. Not that you want to start Cousins even in Superflex, but he's at least viable enough to get some points to Pitts, threaten the defense enough that Bijan can have some space to run. So nothing too exciting else to talk about there fantasy-wise.
I thought for sure the Falcons' defense was a slam dunk.
Yeah.
No Garrett Wilson, Tyrod Taylor. Like this is going to be a awesome start. I might have broke even.
No, The Falcons' defense, they're the biggest anomaly in the world. They all year you have been, wow, the Falcons defense looks amazing and this is a great matchup, and then they look great against a good offense and they look like shit against the Jets. I'm done with the Falcons defense roller coaster.
Yeah. Yep. Nothing else I really want to add there.
Yeah. We might get on the next game here. We might get the Michael Wilson show back. Marv has some type of heel injury.
Yeah.
And
Potentially out.
saw, if Marv is not on the field, it's the Michael Wilson show. Other than it always being the Trey McBride show, my God, I want to send Jacoby.
Yeah.
If I win my League of Record championship this year, a huge part of it is going to be because of Trey McBride, and I will mail a crisp $5 bill to Jacoby Brissett for that. It sure as fuck wasn't Kyler helping it, but the second Brissett came in, McBride has been on I know I'm a big tight end doesn't matter guy, but boy have I been happy that I drafted Trey McBride this year. Holy shit, he has been fucking phenomenal. Let me check here. I got the points per game shit in front of me. If he was a wide receiver, this league is not even tight end premium. Trey McBride's averaging 22.3 points per game in a non-tight end premium, I believe. And yeah, he'd literally be the wide receiver 1 in points per game.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing.
That's fucking good, Trey McBride's been.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'll vet that. This might be a small tight end premium. I have so many fucking leagues that I have to just double check the scoring here. That might be like a 0.5 premium or something like that, but still pretty ridiculous.
Yep. Flip side on both aspects, I'll talk about Egbuka for the Bucks. Is when you're looking at him when he got injured, he has averaged under 10 points per game, which start for his first 5 weeks, averaging 20 plus points per game is a stark difference. And I think there are a couple things for that. I think, defensive wise, side of Houston had a little bit easier of a first few games, but I do wonder if the Bucs, because of their wide receiver core, were so injured, rushed him back, causing him to not be playing full too healthy, and he lost a little bit of a step here. I mean, he has the targets, has decent returns, but the yard isn't as there, the touchdown is there. I mean, he has 1 touchdown in that entire stretch. He has over 60 receiving yards once in that entire stretch. Over receiving yards twice. Like, either something's not quite right with him, or he just really took teams off guard the first 5 weeks, and where we shouldn't be expecting as much of him. But it's compared to a stark difference. I mean, I still remember back, must have been around 5 or 6, Brian, you were talking Egbuka for a few things, and for the people who traded him back then, probably a little happy with his dip in value now, but you really start to wonder what to expect out of him. Like, he's someone that, again, I bring up that question: are you starting him or next week? And I think it depends on the bust game, which you hate to say that with how strong he started. So it's to start your Buccaneers wide receivers right now, I think.
Remember, I made a trade or accepted a trade live on the air. I gave up J.J. McCarthy, my looking like very late first now, and Emeka Egbuka, and I got Lamar Jackson in the Superflex League. Now, with Lamar's recent struggles, that is a little painful, but I'm quite sure that Lamar is still going to be quarterback 1, 2, or 3 consensus for Dynasty Rankings. So yeah, I'm not mad that I gave up the 110 to 112 Emeka and J.J. McCarthy's bum ass for Lamar Jackson. So yeah, he's Emeka Egbuka. I'm just joking with the Emeka Egbuka, the fucking Gronkowski pronunciation of it is just so amazing. But Egbuka is doing the polar opposite of what most rookie wide receivers do, like what Jaden Higgins is doing, where he came out and just torched the league, and then it's like the league caught up to him as opposed to the way it usually goes with rookie wide receivers. But all that to say, he's still a fucking nuclear dynasty asset. Gotta love having him. He's clearly going to be their main receiver going forward with Godwin and Evans both aging out. So he's definitely taken a dip in value dynasty-wise, but he's an awesome player. He's locked in there. He's not instant Justin Jefferson as he appeared to be in the first few weeks there.
Yeah.
Bucky Irving's back. He looked really good.
Good.
The Bucks are slowly but surely, they're somehow leading the division with all of the injuries they've had. Evans looks to be eligible to come back week 16.
Yep.
That should let Igbuka have some room to operate. Maybe Baker's 100%. It didn't even, I know it was his non-throwing shoulder that was ailing him, but Baker looked fine. You're not going to keep Baker down for long. He's going to scratch and claw his way to a solid 275 and 2. The Bucks are getting healthy at the right time, and Igbuka should get some room to operate. And I think they've been watching film on him, and they're shutting him down. Maybe he just had like a couple fluke weeks, but the talent's still there.
So
he was a first-round pick for a reason.
Baker had a hot start. Baker was hovering around like top 5 QB there to start the season.
MVP talk.
Where MVP talk. Where would you guess Baker Mayfield is in points per game in the quarterback realm going into week 14?
Surely he's
16.
Dropped a little. 12.
What do you say? 12? What do you say, Zach?
16.
Quarterback 18. And again, think about that. He was crushing in the beginning of the season, so Baker's been dog shit. Baker's been killing your fantasy team for the last month-ish, if not more. He's all the way down to quarterback 18. I think that's 6-point passing touchdown. I assume it might even be a little bit worse in 4-point passing touchdown. But his game log, he had he had 14 points, 4 points by week, 28, 21, 8, 17. So, and that's in 6 points. So, not great. It's been way worse than it was in the beginning. Hopefully, he can bounce back. I'm not ripping Baker at all. He's a dog. He's fun as shit to watch. You can just YouTube him fucking shotgunning beers at baseball games. Like he's that dude. He's in the top echelon of like, hey, if you want to go party with someone in the NFL, Baker, let's go. Bring Baker Mayfield, a couple 30 packs. Let's go.
Tampa personified. That is Baker Mayfield.
He is Florida man. He's not from Florida, I don't think, but he has become Florida man.
Yes. Yes. I think there's a lot of fantasy things to talk about in this next game, so I'm just going to do a rapid fire and then it's you guys for the Rams-Panthers, where the Panthers upset the Rams, given there's the number one in the NFC. Looking at this game, Bryce Young is coin flip. He can either get you 20-plus points or 5 points, and he needs to get a little more consistent, but he's there. Devontae Adams is a touchdown machine. 14 touchdowns on the season, on pace to break his career high in touchdowns in a season. People are concerned. Blake Corum is starting to get a 50 split with Kyren Williams. I'm here to say that is not happening. Since week 7, Blake Corum has had 30 to 35% average of snaps. Has not changed. It has not gone up. It has gone down. It has been 30 to 35% on average since week 6. It's just he took a couple touchdowns here or there from Kyren Williams. With Kyren Williams back, despite that, despite after not doing well, he's still a back asset to be looking at. And I mean, even I think the Panthers running backfield, Hubbard just had a great day. I think it's still Dowdle's backfield despite Hubbard. It's kind of a hot hand of Hubbard got going really strong, and they just kept running with him there. But I think it's still Dowdle's backfield. Hubbard just kind of touchdown and got it rolling a little more. But it's oddly enough, a lot to talk fantasy-wise just between these two teams.
I think you hit exactly what I would have brought up for everything. I'll just mention that in my own personal life, fantasy life, going through all my teams and making push for the playoff moves, Devontae Adams has been my most recently added player for championship push teams. Main reason, he's been smashing, and secondly, he's older, so most teams, if any team is not in the playoff race that has Devontae Adams, they are quite happy to move off of him for anything reasonable. So I recommend that highly to anyone in looking to make the Dynasty-type playoff push trades. Go out there and acquire you some Devontae Adams. He might cost you your late first. He might cost you 2 seconds. He might cost you a second and a, Jaden Higgins or youthful piece like that. But my guy and Matthew Stafford have a mind meld right now, and they are just end zone smashing. Devontae Adams, I think, is like the wide receiver 5 or 6 on the year. I don't see that shit stopping. So yeah, man, what a great piece to add. And for someone scoring that high, he's a little bit cheaper than usual in dynasty leagues because of his age.
It's a small price to pay to be a champion.
9 years, 9 years of league dues in your pocket, give or take, when you win a title. So yeah, man, make moves like that for sure.
Yeah.
If you are truly a championship caliber team, if you are the 5th or 6th seed, sneaking into the playoffs, and you only have like the 9th most points scored in the league, do not trade for Devontae Adams. But if you are a true stud contender, top 1 or 2 teams in the league, and that's the piece that'll put you over, fucking buy all day. Overpay for Devontae Adams if you need to.
Yeah.
Shit.
Now, the team heading west playing like crap again. I had the Rams defense in a couple leagues. Negative points. Negative points.
I mean, they have a good defense. I generally am not worried about starting them, but this was definitely a weird one. Vegas did not see this coming, and if Vegas didn't see it coming, none of us did.
Who saw the Seahawks putting up 26 points? High fan scorer on the Seahawks team is Charbonnet with 11.
No, their defense was the highest fantasy.
Yeah.
Their defense had like 34 points. It was fucking crazy.
It was.
I saw 26 points. I'm scrolling through. Well, Darnold must have had a great day. JSN must have had a great day. They didn't.
Yep.
There was. Was there anyone you want? There was no one you felt comfortable or were happy starting on either of these teams outside of if you maybe had to start Hawkinson. Maybe with the tight end premium, but this was a fantasy wash. For me, it doesn't change anything fantasy wise. What we talked about last week, Justin Jefferson was one that is you hate to sit, but you almost have to sit because of the quarterback situation. Seattle is still JSN still a must start. The backfield's a 50-50. I mean, this was for me. I'm not taking anything fantasy wise into my decision making for this next week because of what we previously talked about for the sake of these players.
The Seahawks are going to struggle again this week. I'm afraid.
The best thing that's happened to JJ McCarthy in the last 5 weeks was what Max Brosmer did on Sunday. That's it. That's the only takeaway I've got. Is just JJ McCarthy was just going, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Thank God that wasn't me.
Right. Like, see, it's not just me. You suck too. That's about it.
Hey, McCarthy, are you good to go this week? No, coach. No, I'm not healed yet. Well, Brosmer is out, so you need to get that brain unscrambled because you're going in.
Yeah, Patrick, second time you mentioned it, you hate the West Coast teams coming east. I'm not excited about starting either Seahawks running back, nor am I ever any week. But don't be fucking stupid. Leave JSN in your lineup.
Yeah.
JSN, yeah.
You're not fucking benching him. I'm sure everyone has seen it by now. All the memes of Rodgers all beat up with the Band-Aids and shit, saying he looks like he tried to rob Kevin McAllister's house.
That was perfect.
Oh, I know, so good. Grumpy old man, wet bandit. They got their asses handed to them. That passing game is just so lame. DK can't get anything done. He's the best option that you'd want to start. And Kenny Gainwell, no involvement. Warren, I think Warren at least had like a respectable game fantasy wise, but G. Rose, nothing much to say about them. I don't really want to start any of them except for Warren's an okay flex, I guess.
Yeah, maybe Gainwell too. It's a 50-50 battle depending on what you think against Baltimore next week. But yeah, outside of Gainwell or depending on your flavor, starting any Steelers, I don't trust them. They don't look good. On the flip, James Cook continuing to cook. Even with Josh Allen, I think James Cook is more consistent than Josh Allen to be starting your fantasy lineups points wise.
How fucking good is James Cook, man?
Yeah,
he is just electric. Like I don't want to say, I don't want to compare him or say like he's as valuable or as high end as like Bijan or Achane or Jahmyr Gibbs, but he's kind of in that category. Like when he touches the ball, you're like, oh shit, here we go. Like he's about to do something. Like he might get you 36 yards on this run that because he had a little bit of space. He's what a great little surprise after his holdout and the fact that he was like a smaller back and everybody's worried about his workload. He's just fucking awesome. James Cook is a hell of an NFL football player, and he's doing as well as his big brother did when he was like shining as one of the top assets in fantasy. So good for him. Fresh beer. Cheers. James Cook. I've got him on a bunch of teams, and let's ride him into some championship glory over the next couple weeks, man. And the weather keeps getting shittier. I don't think Buffalo is going to start airing it out anytime soon. It's going to be the James Cook and Josh Allen show.
Yeah.
Teams are so worried about getting burned by Allen that Cook's getting all that room to run.
Right. Well, you have to. I mean, you have to be worried about Josh Allen. Unlike Lamar.
Imagine if the Bills had a receiver.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
James Cook, running back 6 in points per game on the year, behind basically the guys I mentioned: Taylor, CMC, Gibbs, Robinson, Achane, Cook, and they're all pretty close, jumbled. Cook's within 2 points of most of them. Yeah, hell of a player. Good for him.
Yep.
And I don't know how it's possible, but the Steelers got older today.
They added
Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen.
I mentioned it in the chat. If Rodgers throws a touchdown to Thielen, that has to be one of the oldest combined touchdowns in NFL history. My brain immediately went to when Tom Brady was at the end of his career at Tampa Bay. Did they have like a over 30 receiver that caught a touchdown? I don't know if they did, but Gronk's young. Gronk's like younger than Kelsey. We forget how much younger Gronk is than people give credit for, and that was 4 years ago or 5 years ago. So,
Gronk's only 2. He's just got so beat up.
Right. But yeah, think about it. Aaron Rodgers is what 40 or 41, and I think Thielen's legitimately 34 or 35. So that's 75-year-old touchdown. Pretty cool. And hey, I don't think Thielen has any threats for targets there. He might step in and have a fucking 6-catch game next week because they don't know fucking have anything going in the passing game.
He could. Good.
Raiders, Dodgers. What do you got?
Vidal has been an amazing step in for Hampton, but Hampton's kind of coming in. He's expected to play this next week. My question is going to be with how Vidal doing is if Hampton's going to be on a snap count to really bring him back in, especially depending on if Herbert's in. But I mean, it's kind of the same old. Is coin flip on Chargers wide receiver right now. Raiders, you're just hold on to Genty for next year because for them to mix up their whole line, and you're hoping Herbert's healthy again soon.
Yeah. We had plenty of
Imagine
talk about
paying Chip Kelly $6 million to call plays off his own secret menu.
Right?
What are you doing, dude? Yeah, the new coordinator, Greg Olson, not that Greg Olson, like immediately the Raiders looked better. Even though Bowers only had 4 targets and 4 catches, it felt like he was everywhere.
Two of them were touchdowns.
I think a spectacular catch. Bowers was like, if it wasn't for Trey McBride, he would be tight end 1 rest of the year for me. He looked rejuvenated. That whole offense looked a little more adequate.
Yeah. The offensive coordinator change almost always has that effect on offenses. So that hopefully we get a little bit more juice out of Bowers and Genty the rest of the year. And with the Chargers, we talked plenty about Ladd early on with the love and hate stuff. You're rolling him out. QJ is somebody that I kind of put QJ in a similar area to Christian Watson, safer than Christian Watson. I'd rather start QJ over Watson, but he's a guy that I'm happy to put as a flex or a wide receiver 3 if I'm the underdog, because QJ can have some big boom games. He's been doing it somewhat regularly all year. He's either all or nothing. It seems like QJ doesn't have a lot of 10-point games, but good for him. He was, basically like a laughing stock level bust, and he's really improved and become a good part of this Chargers offense. I'd assume Keenan Allen's gone after this year too, where they could really just heavily lean into it being QJ and Ladd and Gadsden, which will be, again, great for fantasy because we get a more funneled target situation.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, Keenan Allen's a Charger legend, but once he moves on, that's going to be much better fantasy-wise for all those players.
Definitely. What a hell of a game this turned out to be, because the Manders-Broncos, because there was a lot of shit after the fun Thanksgiving games, and not that the Eagles game was fun on Black Friday, but the Thanksgiving games were all pretty entertaining generally. And then the Sunday slate was rough. And then we got a banger, overtime banger on Sunday Night Football. We talked plenty about Harvey already. He was kind of the hero of the game for the Broncos with the touchdowns.
Yep.
But Mariota had an awesome game. Mariota was like a top 5-ish fantasy quarterback, I believe, on the week. Welcome back, Terry McLaurin. If you had the balls to put him right back in your lineup, I kind of hedged it. I had some leagues where I put Terry back in, and I had a couple that I left him on the bench. And, man, fucking he looked great.
Yeah, it was a game that was slow. Going into halftime, I was I turned levers, exhausted, saw it halfway through, and I'm like, I can go to bed. And I'm like, okay, I up for it. It was so exciting to see the second half, just what was happening. The players turned on, McLaurin turned on, Harvey turned on. It was an exciting game. Great finish.
It was, man. I think the thing that's really up in the air still, and I haven't looked in the last hour, obviously, because we've been doing this, but what the status for J-Day is, I'm not sure if they plan on bringing him back. I know that he's getting projections on Sleeper, but ESPN's still giving Mariota the projection. it's a lost season for them. I think they're
He should
at this point probably mathematically eliminated. So I don't know if they plan on bringing J-Day back or not. But if they don't, Mariota is a sneaky streaming start. He's a dude where shit. If you've got Lamar, I'm happily starting Mariota over him this coming week. If he is in fact starting again. So that's a nice storyline there. But if J-Day comes back with Terry looking this good, with the ever steady Zach Ertz there and Deebo Samuel, J-Day could have a monster end of the season if he does come back for you.
J not cleared for contact as of yesterday, so that's a little bit of worry for him playing this next week. So it might be another week from here, but Mariota is definitely a great play if you need a quarterback. He's doing pretty consistently for you so far, which is great for the Commander that they can at least get some good reps and get some good games in. Still, they're not doing as much as you'd hope, but he's a very, very serviceable backup.
Definitely.
Glad to see Mariota going out on a good note. I'm the first one to pull up that meme of him when he was on the Falcons, falling and just heaving the ball, who the hell knows where. But like Mariota had like 4 consecutive touchdown passes in that game. He had a long pass to Deebo. He got tackled at the 1. I think he threw a touchdown pass to McLaurin that was called back. He hit Ertz in Ertz's hands, dropped in the end zone. And then he had 4 consecutive against the Broncos, against a legit defense. Good to see Mariota playing well in a world where Marcus Mariota's having a decent year. Carson Wentz looked good for a few minutes. Old guys are still hanging in there.
Quarterback is such a cerebral thing that the older you get, your body, maybe your arm's not there anymore, your leg speed isn't there anymore, but quarterback is such a fucking mental thing that you can have dudes like that really perform. And just think about how many times Mariota has read a defense and dropped back now. And he's not as fast as he was at Oregon. He can't throw the ball as far as he can, but he's way fucking smarter about what that defense is doing around him and how to adjust to it. Matt Stafford having the fucking career year in year 18? How many years has Matt Stafford been in the league? Maybe that's an exaggeration, but it's up there. He was like 21 as a rookie. He's like 40 now. He might be year 18. Well, Zach, I want to give you the full floor for the Patriots talk because I have to hit the head. So okay. Me who never shuts up will give you the floor. I'll be right back.
Yeah, it was a great game by the Patriots. 30 points in the first half. I think there's a couple things. For the sake of it, the game was over at halftime. I think the Patriots both knew it was over and just wanted to coast the rest of through. Once the Patriots put up 30 and Jackson Dart going rushing and being literally sent flying by a tackle, stepping out of bounds fast enough. I think those two, the Giants are just like, we need to get through this game without Jackson Dart getting injured. And if we manage that, this is a win in our book. I think that's kind of how that
saw
happened.
That hit, and he grabbed his helmet. He's like, oh, yeah, going to lead the horses into battle.
Yeah. It was a rough game back for Jackson Darts. It was a rough back. But the Patriots, I didn't watch them as much, and they looked – they probably put up 40, 45 points on the Giants. But I think they just kind of took foot off the gas in the second half and just ran out the clock. I think that's kind of what happened. Fantasy-wise, you hate to see that because you want points than just the probably 90% on the first half. But just standpoint of the Patriots being number 1 seed, I think the nation saw a glimpse of why that's the case, and it was an amazing, a great game. I can see why we're doing so well. Now, are we going to make the Super Bowl? No, I really don't think so. Not with a young team, but the game they put him over at halftime. They walked into half saying, "Okay, let's just run out the clock. We're going to be good. Giants aren't going to do much to us." And it was a strong showing.
I assumed I missed a lot of positive talk about the Patriots, which, I get. They're pretty
positive talk about the Patriots and Giants. Their one good benefit that they walked out of the second half saying is Jackson Dart cannot leave this game injured, and that is the win in the book, because Jackson Dart did not leave injured after they sent him flying on the sidelines with that tackle.
He tried to get hurt.
Yeah, he did.
When we were back at the beginning, when we were talking about Patrick Mahomes and how I love that you have him number 2, and I was talking about how he runs efficiently and effectively, I was literally about to say he's not out there getting fucking demolished on the sideline like Jackson Dart is, because you just don't see that happen. But yeah, man, that hit was fucked, and it was completely legal. Like, I guess the lineman would have been a little bit more tasteful, I guess, but he earned it. He didn't. Dart was not stepping out of bounds whatsoever. He was full speed ahead. Man, he got rocked. And I love in the press conference after, Jackson Dart's exact quote when he asked about getting hit, he's like, "Listen, we're not playing soccer out there." Like, he's not a pussy about it. I think it's maybe he obviously needs to be smarter about getting rocked like that. He's not even remotely as big as dudes like Josh Allen and Cam Newton and even like Daniel Jones. He's a smaller dude, so he can't be absorbing hits like that. No. But he's fun to watch. And I can't wait to see him with fucking Cam Scatterbo and Malik Neighbors next year.
Yes, that's gonna be a fun offense to watch.
Dart's listed at 6'2", 223. He looked like a 5'7", 170-pound punter getting lit up.
He looked like, for old men my age reference, he looked like Allen Iverson out there just getting demolished in the paint by like a fucking center. Like Shaq just kept checking him as he came into the lane. Yeah, he just bounced, but he's fun, man. The Giants will be very fun for Madden next year. They will be a fun video game team, no doubt about it.
For sure. Okay, I got a question for you guys before we go into the preview. I'm looking up, I'm looking up stats on Sleeper as we're going through, and I see a trade notification. I have to get you guys' opinions on this, and if you can comment, feel free to give your thoughts to anyone who's listening. Woody Marks. I have Woody Marks, and I just got an offer. A late third for Woody Marks.
A late third?
Late third. What is your view on Woody Marks right now? Would a mid-third take it off, and early? Are you looking for a second? Like, what is your value in Woody Marks? He's getting the volume, but he's not getting points. He's not getting the touchdown. What do you say?
This is a dynasty league if we're talking about rookie picks, correct?
Yes. This is a dynasty PPR.
Most importantly, what is your scenario? What is your roster? Are you rebuilding or are you
rebuilding? I got the 101 next year. 102.
Okay. Like
101, 102 rebuilding.
I normally I don't want to hang on to running back. I don't want to necessarily focus on having running backs in a rebuild situation. But I firmly believe Woody Marks is worth more than a third in any scenario. I'd rather hang on in your scenario where even if you're not competing next year, Woody Marks should be considered like the main running back for the Texans going in, like building up to the preseason and week 1. I feel like at that time of the year when Woody Marks is running with the ones in preseason or training camp, even some contending team is going to give you more than a third for him. So I'm holding in that case, even though again I'm not a proponent of hanging on to running backs or prioritizing running backs in a true rebuild. A rookie running back that has flashed and is probably going to be the starting running back for a team next year, I want more than a third.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought too. He's tried to get Marks off of me before, and I've essentially said, late second is a start. He said that's a non-starter, and then keep sending me offers of third for Marks. I think he's seeing, well, Marks isn't getting the points. He's getting a little banged up. Like, come on, give him to me. And
Send him back an eggplant emoji. Just like, suck it, bro. Here's a here's a fun trade. I wanted to bring this up early in the show. I actually just accepted a fun dynasty trade like right before we went on. I have a team, thought it was a contender. I sold my first right before the season started to get Tua as another quarterback on the team and Travis Kelce because I was weak at tight end. So I sold my own first for Tua and Kelce, which isn't bad, especially going into the year. Arguable is probably a fair trade. But anyway, it went sideways because my main quarterback in this league was Joe Burrow. Had some other injuries, clearly out of the playoffs. I've just been kind of looking at this team like a lost cause. It's losing. It doesn't even have its own first. It's, bottom of the barrel. At least I still have my high second. The guy sent me this evening 2026 first round picks, mid to late, but 2 firsts in this coming draft, and he wanted Zay Flowers, David Montgomery, Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, and Kirk Cousins.
All the old guys.
Smashed accept because this is a team that has no chance this year. Maybe it can potentially compete next year, but I got 226 first for, again, Flowers, Diggs, Monty, Kelce, and Kirk Cousins.
Easily worth it.
Yeah, man. So I'm pretty hyped. So I went from having this team that's on the downward trend and not even having a first to having 2 firsts, a high second, and some hope for the future. So that was a fun one.
It's a good flip.
Yeah, and it was sent to me. I didn't even have to do any work on that. It was just in my. That's always fun when you open that. When you open that letter in your mailbox, right?
Even better. Okay, let's spend minutes. Take a look at our Week 14 preview. What game keeping an eye out on? What games expect to be some good ones? And looking at it already, there's going to be some great games on Sunday. The latter half of Sunday, I'm looking already. We talked about Bears at Packers. That's going to be a great fantasy game. Texans defense, the Chiefs. That's going to be a fun Sunday night. Philly going into the Chargers. Another great game. Kind of what games are you guys looking at, keeping an eye out on for fantasy this next week?
The first game.
Why can't Amon-Ra be healthy? Oh, Amon-Ra.
Yeah, Thursday's big game. Brought it up already, but if Amon-Ra's not healthy, man, fucking fire up those Jameson Williams shares. He could have a mega game against the Cowgirls. Their defense has certainly improved a little bit with Quinn and Williams, but they're still a pretty bad defense. And we talked about this before too. The Lions' defense, other than Aiden Hutchinson, ain't that good either, man. This should be a fun one. Spotlight game for all the world to see. Hopefully, we just get a ton of points out of it.
It seems like the fantasy points are going to be condensed into half the games, and the other half are going to be wise. But I think keep an eye out on Chase Brown. The defense is giving up a lot of rushing points, and it's at Buffalo. It's colder this time of year.
Oh, it's brutally cold. It's a shame there's no snow. Snow would be icing on the cake on this one.
True. I'd like a good game out of Chase Brown. Keep an eye out on him.
Yeah, the Bills have been really bad running backs, so he should have a big game.
Let's just throw Titans Browns right in the dumpster. Breece Hall is going to have a monster game against Miami. Have a feeling.
Probably
Miami's putrid against the run.
Probably both backs, Chain and Hall, will have huge games.
Good point.
Keep an eye on the Marvin Harrison injury updates because Michael Wilson has been phenomenal.
Yes.
If Harrison's out, and Harrison did suffer a completely different injury. He was dealing with recovering from the appendicitis, and then he now has a heel injury that might keep him out. So Michael Wilson goes from a don't start him to an absolute gotta start him, depending on that injury status.
Yeah.
We touched on the weather with the Bears Packers game. It's at Green Bay, but when we're talking about these two teams, it doesn't matter which open field stadium it is. It's the north middle of the country, and it's freezing cold and shit weather, and don't expect too much out of the passing game on either side. We could see a super heavy dose of Josh Jacobs and the Bears tandem of Swift and Monangai. Yep. So not expecting anything much out of any of the pass catchers in that game. Yeah, just overall, I guess, really look at the weather situations. I know most sites and apps, and there's websites you can pull up that only talk about the weather for the games and everything, but it's a big fucking deal this time of year, man. I woke up to snow this morning. I had to shovel my car out for the first time up here in the northeast Atlantic region, just outside of Philadelphia. It's not fun. I can't. As I was out there shoveling my car out and getting hit in the face with wet snowflakes, I was like, man, this would suck to try to catch a football in and get tackled in. So we see it every year. We see lower scoring games. We see studs scoring 60% of their yearly average. So you really got to factor that in, man. Don't bench your studs, but when it comes to tough decisions, weather can absolutely be a tie break. You've got to, I don't think he's not playing in a dome this week, but a Jacoby Myers type of wide receiver. If he's in a dome, that's a guy I want to play over somebody that's clearly ranked higher than him in a vacuum. So just something to factor in, man. It really fucking matters this time of year. They can change everything. You can get 4 points out of a top end wide receiver because it's sideways wind and rain.
Awesome. Yep, Jacoby Myers, nice start. Sunny Florida. Colts haven't been that great. See Jaden Higgins, 7 targets, 5 catches. Good Jacoby Myers week.
There you go. If it happened to be the other way around and he was at Indy, he would be in a dome. So okay.
Yes, he would. Look at that.
Fair enough. Don't forget, 4 teams on bye. That sucks. This time of year, man. That's a lot of fucking good players that you have no access to this week.
Great. Good luck, Nick. Good luck this week, everyone, in your fantasy games. Hopefully you can get in the playoffs next week. Again, we'll keep talking about games, matchups, fantasy relevance, maybe moving a little more into the dynasty aspects and talks as that's starting to take over more and more. But we'll keep being here, joining us.
Yes, sir, man. Always a blast, guys. And get those waiver claims in. Remember to check who was dropped in the morning.
Leave milk and cookies out for your commission.
Yeah, this time of year, too. Don't forget to look who was dropped in your leagues, man. We'll start doing crazy shit. You can see some major names dropped in the morning, so double check and see what happened there. And good luck. Hopefully you get those wins you need to get in the playoffs or lock up that bye, and we will catch you next Tuesday.
Enjoy.
Thanks for joining.